All right, everyone. I think the coast is clear. It's time to go ahead and get started. So this is the MLS Offers and Dealy class. Today, we're going to discuss specifically first MLS Offers. What is that? It sounds like it's not a service. It is a product that we offer. It sounds like something that is in the MLS system. But essentially what MLS Offers is it is a product for both listing agents and buyer's agents in order to send, for example, for a buyer's agent, it will allow a buyer's agent to send a purchase offer package, and then it's going to allow you guys to include a fantastic form that I'm going to show you guys in just a little bit, the affirmation of purchase offer form. It works as a receipt. I'm going to break that down later on, and it's great for a listing agent. The reason why it's great for a listing agent is it allows you to get a timestamp based on the offers as they're coming directly in. That way you know how long you have to get back directly to that buyer's agent. It is within the MLS rules and regulations that if you are a listing agent, you do get an offer directly on the property. You do have to get back to that buyer within 2 business days. We're going to break that down in just a moment. Now, before we do that, I do want to make sure I mention that every single product that we have has a landing page that is packed with not just content, what's in it for you. What's in it for you means what you get for free, but more importantly, on the right side of the page, it's going to include fast access instructions in order to access the service. So what I'm going to go ahead and do real quick is I'm going to go ahead and put that link where I am right now into the chat so that you guys have access to it. The quickest way to get here is by going to miamirealtors.com/MLS offers. We also have landing pages for everything else that we offer. For example, miamirealtors.com/agent3000 or miamirealtors.com/matrix as another option. When you get to these landing pages, the very top left corner, you're going to see a section that says what MLS offers can do for you. So this is going to include what's in it for you, what you get for free along within that service. For example, within MLS offers, we can create custom offer pages, simple counter offer processes, canned email messages. We're going to go through that. Contact management, receive complete offers, all negotiations in one spot, track closing information, email notifications, simple offer submission, one reply to multiple offers, keep a history of offers. That's the most important part. You get to see it from the very beginning of that actual offer coming in, or whenever you send something directly out, you have all of that information saved, but more importantly, archived with the date and time. Moving down, we also have an action log. Think of that as an audit, so you can see exactly who, including yourself or who you have on your team that is going into the system and making changes within MLS offers. As I previously mentioned, we're going to also discuss a super important form. If there's any takeaway today, it's going to be the request for affirmation of purchase offer form. We're going to go into that once we get into the MLS offers section and go through the ropes and go through the settings menu. Now, as I mentioned on the right, we have the fast access instructions. This is where you're going to go in order to register your MLS offers account. Located right here, you would just follow step 1, click on MLS offers in the gateway. Number 2, in your account, click on settings to add your MLS connection. I'm going to show you guys how to do all these steps in just a moment. All right, moving down. We also have tutorials that are available, including directly from the actual distributor of this service, MLS Offers. They do have a YouTube playlist located right here. Moving down, we also have support directly if you ever have any hiccups or issues. You shouldn't, but if you do have access to their FAQs and, of course, their direct email address. And, of course, information based on the MLS offers and their help documentation located right here. So this is a free service. It is incorporated within the MLS. That is actually where we're going to go next before we jump into the system. I'm going to go into Matrix real quick, and I do want to show you, for example, if you're a listing agent, how to enable MLS offers directly on your listing. In order to do that, you're going to go to the very top where you see Add Edit. You're going to give that a click, and like normal, you'll find that listing that you created located right here under listings, right here where you see quick modify. From there, you're going to select the listing. Once you're there, you're going to go straight into the property type. You're going to go right here where you see, for example, single family manufactured homes. All right. From there, you're going to go to the top right corner where you see financial office information. That's going to be the section where the MLS offers button is toggled and located. You're going to go right there, financial office information. You're going to scroll down. And if you do want to enable it, you're going to go right here where you see MLS offers. You're going to click on enable, and then that's going to allow agents to, for example, a buyer's agent, they're going to be able to, from there, within the listing, actually submit an offer directly on your listing. So I do want to show you where that was located. Again, you go here, single family manufactured homes. You go right here where you see the last tab. It's going to be the very last tab. I know I have these other options here. Because I'm an admin, I have these additional sections here, but this is where it ends for you, where it says financial office information. You scroll down, MLS offers, and then from right there, you click on enable. All right. So if you guys were following along earlier on the landing page, it did tell us to go straight to the gateway in order to access this service. So where is the gateway? It's located right here on the main website, miamirealtors.com. You're going to scroll down a little bit, and then you're going to click right here where you see Miami Gateway. That's going to take you to this page that is packed with all of the services that we offer. Quick little tip that I like to provide. I know there's a lot of buttons going on here. I've been here 8 years, and even I get a little lost when it comes to locating the exact service I want to find. If you have a Mac computer, what you can do is you can hit Command F on your keyboard. What that's going to allow you to do is search the page and find exactly what you want. You could do the same thing on a PC. Instead of using the command button, you're going to hit CTRL, also known as Control, and then F. Again, Control F, and then that's going to allow you to search through the page, and it's going to help you find exactly what you want. So this is where we're going to go next. We're going to go right into MLS offers, and I want to first break down the whole page. So starting here, as soon as you log into the system, you want to first visit before you do anything, before you even set up an option for buyer's agents to make requests on your property. For example, submit offers directly. Or if you're a buyer's agent, you want to make sure you set up your profile where you have your photo, your contact information. That way someone can get back to you. In order to do that, you're going to come right to the very top right corner where you see your name. You're going to click there. And then you're going to move down, and you want to go to this immediate section located right underneath your name where you see profile. I'm going to go ahead and give that a click. All right. Now on the left, I already have a photo here. However, if you've never accessed the system before, you do want to come over here, upload a photo right there. That way, if you, again, you engage in any kind of business within the MLS Offers actual product, you'll have your photo there, and people essentially take you seriously. This is the important part. You want to make sure you set up your profile. A lot of agents, once they submit offers, they want to make sure that you're actually using the service directly and that you have your personal information and your photo information included. So you're going to go right here, upload your photo. From here, you can see your first name and last name. These are editable sections. What I mean by editable is you can update your information. For example, some of us don't go by our first name. For example, my first name is Samuel. Some of us go by our middle name. So you can come right here where you see first name. You can go ahead and put in your actual first name. I mean, the actual name of preference, I should say. You add it from there and then click right there where you see the check mark. You can also modify your last name as well. Just make sure that if you do modify your last name, make sure that it is the name that is matching your license as per the Department of Business and Professional Regulations. Moving down, you can also update your company name as well. Now, I'm looking primarily at folks that belong to, for example, Keller Williams or Coldwell Banker. Sometimes in the MLS system, we put you in a satellite office that might not be the actual office that you go to. So you can come in here, update your company name. Maybe the name's just a little bit different. You can also include your email address, your direct preference for phone number located right here. And you can also update your primary local association. For example, maybe you've used MLS offers from Palm Beach Association. Maybe you had it in Orlando. You can come over into your account, update it so that you have your current relative local primary association right here. Moving over to the top right corner, you can also include your city, your country, state and province, and zip code. So this is, guys, this is going to be your direct office information. And then move down here, you can also include your license number right there. And once you get in here, you can also change your password by going right here where you see new password and you can enter and confirm the new password and then click submit. Just make sure that if you do change your password that you delete the history, the cookies of the password that you had before so that it doesn't keep that old password and you can enter the new one. Once you log in with the new password, the system will ask you from there to save the new password. All right, we're going to keep going. The next section that we're going to go to in the top is going to be account settings. I'm going to go ahead and give that a click. All right. So MLS Offers, it is primarily integrated within the MLS as far as from a listing agent's perspective. If you do enable it, a potential buyer's agent, once they have a buyer say, hey, go ahead and let's try to offer $450,000. What it does is it allows agents to go into your listing and then actually go through the process of making that offer. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like in a moment. Also, what you get included within your MLS offers is you do get a free landing page as well. So make sure that you come down here where you see all listings, custom URL. Make sure that you add the suffix of the link. This is not modifiable. This is going to be the beginning of the web page, https:// www.mlsoffers.com/agent/ This is the part that you could customize. I did put my name. I would suggest that you put your first and last name or your first name and then the name of your brokerage located right here. Once you do so, hit save, and then you're going to have the ability to access your personal MLS offers page, which can be shared directly to a potential buyer's agent. For example, maybe you're handling and conducting a showing. A buyer's agent with their actual buyer wants to submit an offer. You can have them go right here directly to that landing page, and it will include any listings that you have on the market, and then they can quickly and formally submit an offer by clicking make an offer. All right, so we're going to keep going. Another really cool thing about this system is you also have the additional notification recipients. For example, maybe you're a part of a team, or maybe you want to add your broker. You can come here under email one, add maybe a co-listing agent. You just click on add, enter their email address. If you want to make sure that your broker is included within any offers that you receive, you can also add email two, and then from there, input your broker's email and then close out. Mainly what this does is this works as a part of an option if you have a team or if you want to add your broker directly. All right, moving down, you also have the ability to create an instruction template. If you click here, what I love about this system is they have a fairly good default message that appears. Please review the attached documents from the listing agent before submitting. Some or all of these documents may be required to ensure your offer is complete. You can go from there, maybe add some additional information as well. Just type that in and then come to the very top and then click right there and then input the name of the template. For example, you're a listing agent, you get an offer directly. You can come here, create a template message saying, right there, you could put the package received is incomplete. Please include document, and then you can include the name of that document. From there, save it as incomplete buyer's package. Work simpler, don't work harder. Come into the system and then create templates. And then you can, of course, include any files that you want located right here, which can be uploaded. All right, we're going to keep going. All right, moving down from there, this is the most important part. You want to make sure that you come down here to this bottom section and then that you add any respective associations that you have. What it's going to do is ask you for your primary association. Mine's done already, but you're going to come down here, add Miami Association of Realtors, and then from there, you're going to add your login ID. It does say agent ID, but this is going to be the ID that you use to sign into the system. It's going to be the set of numbers, not the SL or the BK if you're a broker. You're just going to put the same exact ID that you use to sign in to the Miami Gateway. All right, once it's done, it will send you an email directly confirming that confirming your identity. All you have to do is click on it, and then it's going to automatically add, as part of your MLS integration, the Miami Association of Realtors. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys that real quick, just a quick lay of the land of the settings menu. The next thing that I wanted to show you guys is located on our main website, miamirealtors.com. It is going to be that request of affirmation of purchase offer form. I wish it had a simpler name. It does have a super long name, but if you want, this form is located in Form Simplicity. I am going to show you where you can find it, and it is located in the MLS section as well. I'm going to go ahead and give that a click. All right. So once you click on MLS, it is going to take you to the Miami MLS Resource Center. From there, all you have to do is scroll down, and then you're going to see this section, which is the MLS Forms and Applications. Towards the bottom, not all the way to the bottom, but right above it, you will see the request for affirmation of presentation of offer form. Before being a trainer, I was the manager of the MLS department, and I used to get emails here and there of agents, buyer's agents more specifically, submitting offers directly to the listing agent, and they don't necessarily sometimes get an update directly from the listing agent. So what this form does, it works as a receipt. It works as a receipt to guarantee that you get something back in writing directly from the listing agent. This is for a buyer's agent to use. You would submit this directly with your purchase offer or your lease contract directly to the listing agent, and then they have to get back to you within 2 business days. They are going to need to either advise towards the bottom. They're either going to need to advise from the listing side that either the offer was presented or that the seller, keyword there is seller, waived for the offer to be viewed directly. Now, if you are a listing agent that happens to you have an offer come in, your seller says, I don't want to view it, I'm going to suggest that you get that in writing. That is the most important, crucial step. That way, and I'm not saying that this would happen to you, but heaven forbid something goes into an ethics violation. You want to make sure that you have that in writing, proof that you did your job, that your seller did it, instruct you to not present the offer. All right. So we're going to incorporate this, guys. I want you to get in the habit of, whenever you're submitting that purchase offer, to include this directly as a part of the offer package. All right. So we're going to deploy and use this thing in 2 different systems. We are going to go back into MLS Offers in just a moment and Form Simplicity. But before we do that, I want to make sure I show you from a buyer's agent's perspective how you can actually submit an offer live within the MLS on a listing. So right here, we're in Matrix. We're going to go to the top where you see search. From there, we're going to scroll down. I'm going to go right here where you see, for example, RE1, RE2, single family condo. I'm going to give that a click. And then from there, I always give this tip. Whenever you're searching for properties, by default, the system does have active coming soon and active with contract pre-selected. Some of us don't want to search for properties that are not available yet for showings. Some of us don't want to find properties that are already under contract and they're taking backup offers. So you can unselect coming soon, unselect active with contract, go to the top right corner where you see this cogwheel. You can click there and then select set current selected search criteria as my starting default. By doing that, what's going to happen is you're just going to have active status selected specifically for the single family condo townhome search. Now, if you like that, what you're going to need to do is set up this exact default in the additional search options located right here. It doesn't do it automatically for all of them once you do it just for the single family condo section. All right. Something I wanted to make sure I show you guys that's really cool is you can search for listings that automatically already have MLS offers enabled. In order to do so, you're going to go right here where you see additional fields. You're going to click on add remove. And then you're going to see right here available fields. These are going to be the fields that you can add in order to conduct your search. For example, we're going to search for that MLS offers field. Once you type it in, it's going to show up under available fields. Once that happens, and once you find it, you're just going to give it a click and then click on add. And then it's going to show up within your menu, likely towards the bottom. Older fields, I should say, that you have are going to show up at the top. However, you can easily put it towards the top by clicking on it and then moving up from there. All right, once you're done, that's all you have to do. There's no save button. You just have to click on back, and then you'll have that MLS offers button located right here. So I'm going to go ahead and select enable. Scroll up to the top a little bit. That way we're not fishing for listings that doesn't have it enabled. I'm going to click on single family. From there, city, let's look to see if we have anything in Doral available. We do have 60 listings that are using MLS offers as the means of having an offer submitted directly to the property. From there, we're going to click on results. And let's look at any of them. It doesn't really matter, but let's look at option 3 at 5354 Northwest 94th in Doral Place. I'm going to go ahead and click on the listing number. And if MLS Offers is enabled for that property, you're going to scroll down. You'll find it here under the broker remarks where you see submit all offers via MLS Offers, located right there. So if you have a buyer, for example, this is the property that they want, that they want you to submit an actual offer on. You're going to go right here, click on submit all offers via MLS Offers. And as long as you're signed in, it's going to take you straight to the landing page that includes the listing. So you can just double check. It's going to have the address, multiple listing service number. We also have the city, the state, and of course the list price located right here, and the current status active, meaning it is an available property and we could submit an offer. From there, in order to submit an offer, we're going to click right here where you see make an offer. All right, so as soon as it loads, from there, it's just, again, it's going to have you double check. It's going to load the photo. It's going to include all of the relevant information, including square footage, bedrooms, and bathrooms. And we're going to click on make an offer. Here's something I want to make sure I mention, guys. If you don't see a photo there, double check. They may not have the account completely set up. I like to make sure I teach things close to the hip. If you don't see a photo there, they might not have it set up completely. But they will get an email notification. From there, they're going to sign in to the account and then review the offer. But just double check, make sure that the agent has a photo. All right, from there, I'm going to click on make an offer. And then from there, we can include the buyer's name as well. I'm going to go ahead and put in John Smith. We can include the established close date as well. From there, we can include if the buyer is pre-qualified, if they have proof of funds. For this, we'll go ahead and use yes. Moving down, we also have the ability to include the buyer's email address as well. Let me go ahead and put that in. Actually, let me go ahead and use mine so I don't cause any kind of confusion. Let's do that. Next one is purchase type as well. If it's an investor property, if the property's owner occupied. Now, this information, if you don't see it, it can be displayed within the listing. You can come down here and then you can check for occupancy, owner occupied. We'll go ahead and put that in, purchase type, owner occupied, and the buyer's closing costs to be paid by seller. We can also include that itemized. Again, guys, primarily what we're doing here is we're working through the mechanics of the system. That way you're familiar with how it works. Some of what we're going to discuss, especially once we get into Dealy, again, we're going into the mechanics of how to use the system. If you do need any assistance, especially if you have to create a letter of intent, you do want to make sure that you have a lawyer there, or potentially reach out directly to the legal hotline located right here. Their number is 407-438-1409. Again, that's 407-438-1409. I'm going to go ahead and put that into the chat real quick. That way you guys have that. All right. And we're going to keep going. All right. From there, we can also include the offer price, the actual price that the buyer's including. From there, let's see, the property was up there, $2 million. All right. So we'll go ahead and put into the system something a little bit lower. From there, we can include if there's any earnest money, the financing type, for example, cash, conventional, FHA, hard money, home path renovation, home steps, jumbo, USDA, meaning US dollar, VA, 203K, or other. Now, before you make a selection here under financing type, of course, double check that listing and then double check the what the seller is expecting directly. You'll find that located here. All cash, cash only, or conventional. So we'll go back into the system and then we'll do, for example, a conventional loan from there. And if there's any contingencies, those can be listed there as well, and when they need to be done. Now, these are modifiable. This usually comes a little bit later, but you can include data there, and you can include a message directly to the agent. what I would do here under message to agent, once you come here to message to agent, for example, you can say, please also see the purchase offer and request for affirmation of purchase offer included. Once you do so, you can click on choose files. And once you're done setting up that pending contract, that purchase contract, and of course the request for affirmation of purchase offer form, you would go directly into your computer there and select the folder, select the documents that you're including, for example, that request for affirmation of purchase offer and the residential purchase offer form, and then click on upload from there. All right, now I'm not going to submit this. This is a live listing in the MLS. However, I do want to make sure you guys know what it looks like on the buyer's agent's end. All right, so this is after we submit that offer for our buyer. So once you sign into the system, once you sign in order to see any offer that you submitted, you're going to go right here where you see buyers. You're going to give that a click. From there, you have this is an example. This is the one that I created earlier. Right here, we have the listing agent's name, the property address, the offer status. It is a new offer. We have the status, the list price, and the buyer's information. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a click. Once you do so, for example, you're approaching the second business day, meaning you haven't got an update directly from the listing agent regarding the offer submitted. What you can do is come over here where you see actions. There's a couple of things that you can do. You can click the request affirmation. What that will do is preload a message directly per NER that says the following. Pursuant to the National Association of Realtors Code of Ethics Standard of Practice 1-7, please affirm that you have presented the offer to the seller landlord or that the seller landlord has waived the obligation to have the offer presented. All right, so once you do so, you would hit send, or you can include any relevant attachments. You can actually go under here, reattach. I mean, it's already there, but you can reattach that request for affirmation of offer and send it again directly to the agent by clicking send. All right, there's other amazing things that you can do in here. You also have the ability to agree to counter terms, send message only. Maybe you just want to send a manual message where you can type it in. You would click send message only. From there, you can type in what you want. For example, maybe you don't want to use the previous message from NER. You can come in here, say something directly. For example, still waiting on an update of my offer. Please advise. I mean, you want to be nice to folks, but you could maybe go a step further and say per MLS rules and regulations, please provide an update within 2 business days. All right, like so. And then from there, hit send, and that will go directly to the agent. All right, so I just wanted to show that real quick. All right, so if you do get an offer directly on your property, that is the next thing that I wanted to show you guys real quick. So we're going to switch it out of the buyer's side. We're going to show you guys now from the listing agent's perspective. All right, so how you would access that is you would go right here where you see listings. You would give that a click. And if you received any offers, you're going to get that email, but you're going to find any offers on that property located right here. Once you do so, go ahead and give it a click. All right. From there, you have some additional information. You do have the direct link to the actual offer. You have the status, the listing information, the price points as well. You can also include any additional information. You can include sellers as well. You can add them as a contact, or if you want to add any HOAs, homeowners associations, maybe a title company, etc., you can add those as well under miscellaneous, and then you could add them as a contact. All right, so we have the offer located right here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give it a click. That way it can show you exactly the terms directly from the buyer's agent. So we have it here. Offer price, $415,000, earnest money, $10,000, qualified, yes. Financing type is conventional. closing costs paid by seller. We have that amount itemized and the expected closing date along with the purchase type. And of course, if there's any contingencies, and we can quickly view any of the documents submitted directly from the agent, the buyer's agent located right here. All right. Just wanted to show you guys that real quick. All right. So that is pretty much MLS Offers in a nutshell. The next thing that I wanted to show you is Informed Simplicity. Again, I think the main takeaway today, guys, is of course how MLS Offers works. We're going to, of course, jump into Dealy, where I'm going to go into where you can create a letter of intent. But I think the humongous takeaway is, of course, that request for affirmation of purchase offer. Again, it works as a receipt, guaranteeing that you get back in writing directly from the listing agent that the offer was either presented or that the seller waived for it to be presented. It works as a receipt. The reason why I keep stressing that word is buyer's agents can be a little flaky. I'm not saying they're all flaky, but sometimes they kind of jump from one agent to another. So what it will do is allow you to get that back in writing, proof due diligence that you did your job, that you got something back directly from the listing agent. All right. The reason why I say that is I was in the MLS department. I've seen some situations where the buyer gets not aggressive, but they can be a little hard on the buyer's agent. So it's just going to help you out using that form. So the reason why I'm in Form Simplicity, I do want to show you guys real quick. You do have a section located here, which is blank forms. Blank forms is, of course, the library of Form Simplicity. You do have access to not just the Florida contracts and addendums. You have also access to the Miami Association of Realtors contracts and addendums, or including the status change forms or the syndication opt-out form, and of course the request for affirmation of presentation of purchase offer form. So why am I here? I want to make your life easier. You have the ability to create form packages. I'm going to go ahead and click that real quick. So as a buyer's agent, what you want to do is create a offer package with the affirmation included. Perfect. So if you guys want to set this up, again, we get in the habit of whenever we're working with a buyer, we get in the habit of just submitting a purchase offer, meaning just a pending contract or a lease contract. Including this additional document is going to just make sure that things happen a little bit smoother. So again, where did I go? I went into blank forms. I went down to forms packages, and I'm going to give you guys an example where you can create the offer package with affirmation. I'm going to go right here where you see create new package. From there, I'm going to name it offer package with affirmation. And then from there, we can go ahead and create the forms package. All right. And then from there, we need to click on the name, or it'll take you right there. Sometimes it'll take you right into it. And then from there, we need to add those forms. We're going to click on add blank forms. First, let's go ahead and get the FAR bar contract. We're going to do the Florida contract first. Go ahead and type it in, purchase. And then we will find quickly the purchase. There you go. Residential contract for sale and purchase. That thing was higher the last time I was in here. All right. So once you find it, you're going to click on this check mark there, click there, and then click add to package. Boom. And then we're going to add also the request for affirmation to purchase offer. So I'm going to click right here, add blank forms, switch from Florida. It is a Miami form. So we're going to go here to Miami Association Realtors. And then we should have it towards the top. If we don't, we can just search for it a little bit. Request for affirmation to presentation to purchase offer. All right. From there, I'm going to click it. Click add to package. All right. Boom. Once you're done, you're good to go. And from there, again, you can use this form package a part of any transaction that you create directly within actual Form Simplicity section. You're going to go right here where you see start a new transaction. And then, of course, start inputting the information like normal. Now, we do have a Form Simplicity class that is available for free. All you have to do is go to miamirealtors.com/Form Simplicity, and you will find the next available class, or by going to miamirealtors.com/classes, and then you could search directly, typing in Form Simplicity. All right. So I just wanted to show you guys that as well. All right, so that is going to be MLS Offers. We're going to keep going. The next thing that we're going to go into is Dealy. Dealy is a commercial product that is available directly to commercial members. What it does is it allows you to create a LOI, also known as a letter of intent. What does a letter of intent mean? It is a non-binding agreement that outlines that the sale or lease term and conditions. It begins as a draft agreement and can become a finalized contract later. However, a legal contract would be your purchase contract or lease agreement. So you would still use your purchase contract or your rental contract, also known as your lease agreement. Also, an LOI works as an initial offer based on preliminary information provided by the seller or selling broker. It helps with the negotiation process and includes key terms during the negotiation process. To repeat, a letter of intent is not a legally binding document only if the two sides make it binding. The document would need to be completed in its binding form. Usually you would have to include that buyer's contract or a rental contract. Why would you use a letter of intent? They are easy to make and use, and it's not a legally binding document for a buyer. A letter of intent is normally created after an initial discussion is made with the selling agent or at the time of viewing the property directly. After a discussion or meeting takes place, the letter of intent nails down all of the key points in the initial meeting and works as an initial offer on the property. A letter of intent includes a quick introduction. It does include information regarding the property, the terms of the offer, and any due diligence items that need to be handled prior to purchase of property. However, the LOI does not work as an official offer. So I do want to make sure I go over that. All right. So in order to do so, in order to create that letter of intent, you're going to go right here where you see Dealy. You're going to give that a click. Now, if you're a commercial member, you're going to want to make sure that you click on the commercial button, and then you will find Dealy as well, located within your commercial dashboard. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Dealy. Here we go. All right, so from here, if you have any active letter of intents, you will find them located here. Or if it's your first time in the system, just make sure that you go into your profile first. Make sure that you have all of your relevant information included, any management properties that you have, etc., before you get started creating that new letter of intent. I'm going to go ahead and give this a click. Now, you can create a letter of intent for primarily commercial properties, both for sale and for rent. Now, it does give you a default template that I would suggest you to use if you're a first-time user. There is a ton of free templates online that you can use. Some templates do have an option where, for example, maybe your buyer wants to include within their letter of intent and they want you to maybe remove the purchase price. There is a couple of templates online where you can include that information. We're just going to go through a basic flow. So right here we have what is the type of property. We can select retail, office, industrial, multifamily, and of course, land. For this one, we're going to go ahead and say we're going to purchase an industrial space. And then move down, we're going to use the default option. And then we have the next. It's going to ask us, is your letter of intent to lease or purchase? So from there, we're going to select purchase. But as I mentioned, you can also create a letter of intent for leases. All right. From there, you can go ahead and start putting in the address of the property. Let's see. Right here. You can also include a suite if there is one. We can also include the city, the state. All right, and also the zip code as well. And then once you're done, again, what this is it's a template. It's creating that letter of intent. It's going to include the property information as well as include the cooperating broker as well. So we'll go ahead and put that in. All right. From there, I'm going to click on Save as Continue. Now, I want to be clear. This is adding within the letter of intent all of this information, including the property seller. We're going to be able to make an offer. We're going to be able to include commission, but we're not actually adding any of these folks as contacts. I'm going to show you guys where you do that later. We're just creating that letter of intent going through a template. Right here, we have who is your property's seller. All right, going to keep going. Who is your property's buyer? You can also include that. All right. And then from there, I'm going to click on Save and Continue. All right. And then from there, it's going to provide you with that letter of intent right there. We have the very first part. It's going to say, Dear John Haynes, this is going to be directly to the buyer side. This letter of intent generally sets forth intended material terms, but not all material terms or of the anticipated contract for the purchase and sale. So this whole section, you can make any modifications. Maybe you want to add an additional term. You can click right here, add new paragraph, and then you can include any additional information. You could put, for example, this intent is specifically for purchase of property. All right. Keep going down. We also have the offer information. We have all of the address information preloaded. We have the seller's information, the buyer. Then from there, we can include the offer price. I'm going to come over here to purchase price. And then, for example, I'll put in 450,000. Now, the system's not going to add commas by default, so just come in here, add that comma to make it a little bit easier. And then earnest money right there. If you want, you can actually remove those dashes. Just keep it within the business day right there, within 3 business days after the date of the final execution and delivery of purchase and sale agreement. The contract by both the date and the final execution and delivery of, and then we can include the earnest money as well. Right. All right. Just showing you guys real quick. There you go. Then we can also include the name of the title company. All right, moving down, we also have the closing date. The closing of the purchase of the property closing shall take place within, and we can also make sure to mention, going to go ahead and put in 7 business days from there. All right, and then we can also include the inspection period that is reserved directly for the buyer. All right, go ahead and fill that in. Keep going. All right, and then we have the any financing contingencies. The purchase agreement shall be contingent upon the buyer obtaining satisfactory financing terms and conditions for the purchase of the commercial real estate property. The buyer shall have, and then we can include the date range there as well. Move down. We also have information for title and survey. We also have prorations, costs, and transfer taxes. And we can also, this is super important, we have the next part, which is brokerage. Buyer and seller hereby represents that they have not engaged any other real estate broker or other fee paid entity in connection with the purchase transaction, and that no commission or finder's fees are due to anyone other than, and then from there, you would include the buyer's agent. And then from there, we can include the seller's agent. Again, we're adding the name to the document. We're not actually adding them as a contact to the process. I'll show you guys that in a moment. All right. And then from there, we have seller shall be responsible for the payment of all commissions to buyers at, and then from there, I like to remove those dashes and just go straight into the parentheses. We can go ahead and put in, for example, 6% of the sale price. Seller and buyer each agree to identify. There is some misspellings. Make sure that that gets reported. All right, we're going to keep going. We also have the time for acceptance. This letter, this is going to include the expiration of when the offer expires, similar to a purchase contract. This letter of intent shall expire if not accepted by the buyer and seller on, and then you could put the date. All right. After this date, it shall become null and void if accepted by both parties, and purchase and sale contract shall be promptly drafted for review by the buyer and seller with execution to take place no later than, and then from there we can include for example, 7 business days following the full execution of this agreement. From there, you can add, like I mentioned, any additional rows or any additional paragraphs. Once you do so, you can come right down here, then click on Create Letter of Intent. What this does is it creates that LOI that can be accessible via a portal. So this is what we have here. We have the ability to invite our contacts. That is going to be the broker right there, the listing agent. And then in order to submit this directly to a potential buyer's side, we need to go right here where you see click here to invite contacts. I'm going to go ahead and give that a click. From there, you can enter their name. All right. And then you would enter their email. I do have to enter my email one more time, but what we're entering again is going to be the email directly for the buyer's agent. From there, we can include the type. We can include broker, agent, attorney, client, accountant, general contractor, property manager, vendor, or other directly. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and include agent from there, and then you have assign permissions. This is what they can and cannot do with the document, kind of similar to form simplicity. View privileges, you can turn that on or off. We do want to make sure that that's on so that we can submit it, but we do not suggest turning on the editing privileges whenever you're submitting a letter of intent, because that can be modified by the buyer's agent if it's, not by the buyer's agent, I meant to say listing agent upon them actually having the seller look at it. So from here, we're going to select edit privileges. We'll keep that off and then click on save. Okay, I think it's because I'm using my email. We'll use this one. Let's see if it'll take it. There you go. All right, darn. All right, we'll have to use a different one. Hold on. Trying to think of an email that I would have access to. All right, here we go. All right, and then save. All right, boom. And then that's how you engage and then add the potential buyer's agent directly so that they can access and, of course, review the documents. Let me go ahead and go here real quick. Let's see. It lets me in. No, I haven't got it yet, darn. All right, sometimes there can be a delay, guys, but once it's submitted directly from there, from the system, the actual buyer's agent can view that LOI. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like now. View the document. And this is what they would receive. John Haynes Broker, this is a letter of intent between Henry Neville, hereinafter the buyer, and Valerie Josephone, hereinafter the seller, concerning the real property located at 800 James Avenue, Doral, Florida, 33178, hereinafter the property. Dear John Haynes, this letter of intent generally sets forth intended material terms, but not all the material terms of the anticipated contract for the purchase and sale. As such, this letter of intent shall not create an enforceable obligation for the purchase and sale of the property, and neither party shall be liable, because that's, again, it's a letter of intent. It's not an actual purchase agreement, liable to the other for failure to reach a definitive contract for purchase and sale. This intent is specifically for purchase of property. That's a little additional item that I included there. All right, moving down, we also have the terms right here. We have the purchase price, seller buyer's information, the address, when the offer was submitted, earnest money information, the closing date, inspection period, financing contingencies, moving down, title and survey, prorations, costs, and transfer taxes, and of course, the brokerage information and the compensation within the terms. Moving down, we have the time for acceptance. We have the non-binding interests. I think this is amazing, guys. It creates this for you. It's we want to make sure that we're adopting automation, not working as hard, making sure that we have services like this available. And then we have, moving down right there, agreed to and accepted. We have the information there directly, and then agreed to and accepted by directly from there. All right. So again, I'm going to go back real quick to the main menu. This was the one that we did. Right here, you have the ability to upload a photo of the property if you want to do so as well. You would just hit the upload photo button. You can include that directly from your computer. All right. Go right here in order to access it. And then if you want to send it maybe to the buyer's broker, you can also do so by click here to invite contacts, input the name, the email address, and the type, for example, broker, and then make sure that you enable view privileges, and then make sure that you have the ability for them to edit turned off from there. All right. That is it, guys. Just wanted to quickly go over the MLS offers system. I wanted to make sure to include from both the buyer's perspective, the listing agent's perspective, and then, of course, show you how you can create a forms package using form simplicity. Make sure that you include, whenever you're working with a buyer, that form works not just for purchases, but also for rentals as well. If you send a lease agreement, works as a receipt to make sure that you get back in writing that, again, that offer was either presented or that the seller waived for that to be presented. We also did a quick little dive into Dealy, demonstrating how you can create that letter of intent using the Dealy system. That is it for now, guys. If you do have any additional questions, you're more than welcome to email me. Let me go ahead and move this up here.